Series 2.
Welcome back, mate. Series 2. What are we calling this episode? The one where Ben and Chris get cancelled.
Yeah, by the end of this, talking about social media, we've lost all our followers and probably been cancelled. So,
yeah. Well, we're bound to with the slip-ups we keep making, wouldn't we?
This is take 10. It's really hard getting back into it again, isn't it, after a long break?
It is. We had a long break, guys, but we do want to just start by thanking every single person who supported season 1. One of my biggest talking points when I've been with people in the last year has been, what happened to it? Where did it go? Let's just acknowledge it. You got COVID, didn't you? And that knocked you for 6 for a while.
Yeah, I got COVID. I was out. I was ill for like 6 weeks, but like really bad. And I think it just broke the flow of doing it. But there was quite a lot of work to cutting and editing these things. So I think 10 episodes was pretty good, to be fair. I think there was a much longer break in between doing the 10th one and restarting again. But I think it's been good, mate, because this doesn't really come naturally to me, like talking on camera and doing this side of stuff. So I think there's a lot of things from that first series that were positive that we can take away. But I also think there's a lot of things that we can improve on. So hopefully this series will be nice and relevant. We'll answer the whole point of it is answering your questions so that you can carry on your fitness. I nearly said fitness journey. I hate the word fitness journey. Journey has you go, but like journey has like
an end of
day. Yeah. Go on.
I hate that. I hate my fitness journey. It's not a journey, guys. It's not something that exists for a short period of time. We want to ingrain habits, habitual change to change your behaviours that is going to see you through and improve the quality of your life from now till the day you die. We want to ingrain good quality habits on you that stick.
Yeah, the word journey, doesn't it? It makes it sound like it's going to be like a 4-week, 6-week, 12-week, year-long thing. That's not what we're doing. We just want to give you some advice that helps you live a healthier and happier life. There you go.
Yeah. To me, that's the key one there. You've just nailed that for me. It's the happier life bit.
The first episode we're going to do, we're going to talk about social media.
It's dangerous as well. Bearing in mind our businesses do exist to a point in the online space.
Yeah, we both use social media for sort of social proof, don't we? To prove that we actually do train and have clients and get some of our points across. However, there is positive and negative when it comes to fitness anyway on social media. So do you want to take away a point first?
It's difficult for me to know where to start and where to begin, because for me, I do feel very passionate about certain views on things. And I don't want to come across as too negative. I get very frustrated don't want to come across as negative, but your favourite influencer is not necessarily the leading industry professional. They're not necessarily the subject matter expert that you look at them and you see them. You see them in these perfectly edited videos and they're doing this, 5 exercises to target belly fat. And it's like, these lists, 5 exercises, these lists need to die. That's the 5 words that need to be listed on there. It's not necessary. The guys you are seeing on social media are not the guys who are working with clients 30, 35, 40 hours a week. I use the word in the trenches. We're not in the trenches. We're listening to music and chatting. But years ago, someone shared this online recently. I can't remember who it was. It's bothering me. That's why I'm stalling for time. Anyway, he basically said that 15 years ago, if a Men's Health or a magazine or a publication wanted an interview with someone, they would reach out to gym owners. They would reach out to sports coaches and they would try and interview them. That doesn't happen anymore because of the social media space, and you've got 20-year-olds on probably steroids, tricking an algorithm with high production values, and you look at them and you see that they're the professional. And that's my frustration with social media, and I'm going to shut up now because I'm very conscious I'm being very negative and ranting. However, I really want people to be aware that their favourite influencer isn't necessarily... I suppose I'll just repeat myself from earlier. They're not necessarily the subject matter expert that you look at them and see them as.
Mate, I love that. I think it's so true because just because you're an influencer doesn't mean you are qualified. You don't even have to be qualified to have an opinion on social media. So anybody can have an opinion, start talking about it, and everyone thinks it's gospel. And that's the danger. You know, to be perfectly honest with you, most people who have huge followings on social media are either celebrities or pay a company to get them followers and likes, and therefore that's who you're listening to. And whilst a lot of what they say is probably beneficial, it probably does help a lot of people because people see them doing something and, you know, maybe change a few habits to kind of mimic them. There's no real science behind a lot of what they're saying, or there's no proper education behind what they're saying. So again, it's just, I think you have to be very careful, because also, like, the word influencer to me, like, what we are personal trainers. That's what we qualify as, personal trainer. So the word personal is in there. So that means you are dealing with people on a one-to-one basis, not as a whole. And the trouble with social media is, I think, to be someone on social media and be an influencer, you have to have these set opinions, like one size fits all. That's what I find generally with people across the board. So it's either you must track your calories, or you mustn't track your calories, or you know, you must take X, Y, and Z supplements, or you must train this many times. You know, it's all so, like, it's so unspecific. It's, you know, it's generalized. You can't train. Like, I've had clients who I've tried multiple different approaches with the same client. So my message on social media wouldn't work. If I'm on social media, I've never once said, you must do this, you must do that, you must do that. I've said, here's a suggestion of a few strategies. Have a go and see which one works for you. Does that make sense?
So something you said there kind of resonated with me, in that people are being kind of tribal in their approach. It's, this is my niche, this is what works, you have to do it my way. And it's not. There's too much arguing about, I can't remember if this was on a previous thing we recorded or if this was off camera, but there's too much arguing out there as to what is the best way of doing certain things. Nutrition approaches, for example, ketogenic, paleo, the different high carb, low carb, the different types of methods of eating, whether it's Mediterranean, it doesn't matter. The problem is that not enough people are eating real food at a quantity that is appropriate for their body and their goals. That's the problem. There's more people not adhering to these principles than there are. So I think in social media, it gets a lot of people angrily shouting at each other when we don't. We need to get on and get on board with trying to oppose liquid calories. You know, I use that as just an example. You know, instead of us saying, well, my way is better than your way, why don't we say, well, hang on, instead of us trying to fight over the little 10% of the market who are going to buy into us, let's reach out and try and get more of the 90% that aren't doing anything, who aren't sleeping at night, who aren't hydrating, who aren't eating enough vegetables. Let's get them doing more.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So I said this before, I don't know whether it's off camera or in a different episode. There's three types of content. There are depth, trying to increase the bond between us and them. There are value, us offering to help someone solve a problem, or there's a viral. And my issue I have with all of this stuff on social media is it's all trying to be viral. It's all trying to be viral rather than helping the consumer solve a problem or generating more of a connection with the audience. That's my frustration with it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think sometimes as well, like, some people, it's quite hard to create content, right? So some people will jump on the bandwagon of somebody else on social media. So, like, let's say James Smith, and discuss James Smith purely just to talk about someone who is in the limelight, because it will give them more views, give them more likes. Whereas actually, you shouldn't really be bothered by what anyone else is saying on there. Your message to your people should be what you think. So just, you know, you don't have to slate someone else in order to, or someone else's methods in order to be successful.
Yeah, we could probably.
Like, you should be going off your own back.
Who's the lad who lives in America? He's got a beard. Ben Carpenter. James Smith. You know, we could try and make a following and try and get the limelight on us by shitting on these guys. But these guys are getting people moving. They're getting people training with. They're getting people lifting weights. Like, it doesn't have to be tribal. It doesn't have to be us versus them. It doesn't have to be divisive. Just, I wish people would get on more and try and just offer value. I've always loved the idea on social media. Just offer value, and from that you will generate an audience, and you will generate people who you will just attract people who.
You're right. You're right. No, you're right. You're right, because there's plenty. You're right, because there's plenty of things on social media that I disagree with. Loads of it. I actually think, like, even the people that I like on social media, 50% of what they say I agree with. 50% I think you're just doing that to be. Look at me.
100%. Sorry for stealing your catchphrase.
No, exactly that. So it's for me, it's a case of, if you have to shit on someone else's theories and someone else's methods in order to promote yourself and for you to be successful, that's not the way to. For me, that's not the way to do it. Right? The way to do it is to just be honest, give your opinions, give a variety of methods, because let's face it, not everyone fits the same build. Like, mine and your personality is very different. We mentioned it on maybe a different Q&A, like our motivation for the gym is different. I don't need to be motivated. You need discipline there to be motivated to go. I don't. So everyone's different. Like, I could have two different clients stood in front of me. Both of them want the same result, and both of them need an entirely different approach to their nutrition and their training to get them there. But they can both get there following different methods. There's multiple methods to use. You have to take the client's, like, psychology into it. You have to take the time they have, the time frames. You have to take their past. So there's just multiple approaches you can take. And I think the problem with social media is that to be successful, it's a one size fits all, and that for me is detrimental to a lot of people.
It's what sells, isn't it? That is what sells for people. But Chris hits the nail on the head there when he says he sees people's stuff online. You don't, like, once upon a time, you used to come across something online you didn't like. You just keep scrolling, wouldn't you? Nowadays, people want to argue with that. It's become very socially acceptable to just argue with strangers online. You don't have to agree all the time. Me and Chris, whilst we agree on a lot of stuff, we disagree on a lot of stuff. It doesn't mean that we are arch enemy. Like, every time you put a picture up, there's a burpee in it. I go, oh, not a bloody burp. Like, and taken out of context, let me just explain. A burpee, Chris is strong enough to handle a burpee. A burpee is an advanced exercise. Everyone does burpees as a beginner. That's my point there. But it doesn't, I don't have to comment on Chris's video and hate on his stuff because he's sharing a picture of him doing a burpee.
Could you please stop doing that then?
Sorry, I will stop. Like, the fact that Chris gets a latte vanilla with almond milk, and I think an almond milk vanilla is disgusting. An almond milk vanilla latte is disgusting. We don't fall out about that. Have you stopped drinking them?
I've changed. Yeah, no more artificial sweetener. I don't have the vanilla, and I've changed the almond to soy.
Oh, soy, good shout. But what do you have? What, do you just have it as is?
Yeah, decaf, because I'm off the caffeine these days as much as I can. Yeah.
See, that's a good thing. Do you remember back in the day at Henley, like, you'd come in from after training, you'd have been in the building from like 5 a.m. and you'd return at like 4 o'clock, and you'd head straight to the coffee machine.
So first thing in the morning was, so honestly, I used to have caffeine all morning to get me just to wake up. Then I used to have my pre-workout, and then my post-workout was a double espresso to go back into work. And actually, I heard that caffeine helps the uptake of nutrients, and I was like, excellent. It's all for positive reasons. Don't do that. Don't do that. Now, I would say that my final take home on it would be, like, the things with social media is use it for motivation. Accept that not everyone is qualified, and there are a variety of ways of getting to the same place. And the last take home I would say is, have a clear idea of what you want to get out of your training, and then all you need to do is work backwards from that to where you are now and develop a plan to get there. Okay, so it's not a one size fits all on Instagram of this is how you must train, eat, sleep, whatever. You may disagree with a lot of what me and Ben say. That's fine. It just doesn't bother me. But just come up with a clear plan of how you get from A to B. That's all you need to do. There's a multitude of ways that you can do it.
Yes. I would, first of all,
take the motivation, not the education. Sometimes that's what I would say.
Yeah, I've got a social media post scheduled out. It comes out early February time, and I'm basically critiquing people who are prepared to, not critiquing people who are prepared to, but I'm going to suggest that people are happy to spend £1,000 on a new phone, 800 quid on a designer handbag, 150 on trainers, yet 200 quid to hire a professional, and I mean a professional, someone who has reputable referral, testimonials and things like that. You people won't spend that sort of money to source out a professional to help them do, achieve their goals.
Yeah. There's no short-term fix. Don't believe the things on Instagram that's going to get you anywhere in 4 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
That's for me. When I used to sell a 12-week program, I actually then changed it to monthly coaching because the whole term, like 8 to 12 weeks, that's to get you started. It's not to get you to the end. Admittedly, most people can get an incredible result in that amount of time. So it's a good, and psychologically, sometimes people like a time frame. However, social media plans that are sold like 6 to 8 weeks to get you, the body of your dreams forever is not really ever going to work.
Unless it is going to ingrain good quality habits within you, don't bother. If you can't do it for the rest of your life, don't do it for 6 weeks.
Yeah, exactly my approach with calories, by the way, calorie counting, because there's a lot of that about on social media at the moment. Some people will benefit from counting calories, other people won't. I've seen it with lots and lots of people. But for me, the approach is just get an understanding of portion size. That's the thing where everybody goes wrong. If you can understand portion sizes, you can then decide whether your willpower is going to get you a result or not. So some form of tracking for me for like a couple of weeks, whether it be an app, don't have to track everything, just got to track the bulk of what you're eating, or just using food labels, just get an understanding of using some form of tracking to understand portion size. If I send a link to a video that I've done on how to track your calories to one of my mates who asked me about weight loss, I'll get like 10 texts through the week. Did you know how many calories are in this chocolate bar? Did you know if I go down to Costa, I've got this many calories in the cake? Did you know that even in like a latte, vanilla-y, whatever I used to have, there's this many calories? All it does is give someone an understanding of portion sizes. Now, if you do that for a couple of weeks and you suddenly realise, that's a good thing. It doesn't cause long-term problems. Does that make sense? Having said that, if you're someone who has struggled with food in the past, or you think that tracking your food is going to give you anxiety over food, which I know some people do have that, then don't track it. But just have a little look at some food labels and go, okay, right, maybe I should just. But there's what I'm saying is there's multiple ways to do the same thing. People that get results without having to do anything, and they can, brilliant, unbelievable, change a few habits, excellent. But the social media message has to be one or the other. It has to be like, this is good or this is bad. There's fucking middle ground in there. Okay? Yeah, that's my take-home message on all of it. To be honest, I came on social media for probably, I think it was about 4 or 5 weeks quite recently, because I just found it really boring. And just the fact that it just felt like everyone had to have a message and a rant about everything. And I was like, that's not really what this was designed for. It was designed, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. We're purposely not really touching on the mental health, the negative mental health aspects of social media, because we actually got that lined up and we're planning on talking about that in a different episode. But just remember, anytime you're looking at social media and it's making you feel shit about yourself, you're watching something that someone else has taken time to present their very happy highlight reel of their life. Social media is not real life. It's and again, this is dangerous, us saying this, bearing in mind the percentage of our income comes from online business. Yet, what you see is not reality. And it's important you try and remember that. But we will touch on that in a future episode.
Yeah, one thing I would say as well is, I think we should, and one thing I would say as well as a trainer is, what I post on my social media is not to get me money. I'm not doing it for a monetary value. What I'm doing is, what I like to see on social media and get from it is ideas on workouts and see if people. So that's what I give, is ideas on how to train. You know, this is what I'm doing. Have you tried this? Give this a go. For me, that's what I enjoy from social media, and that's one of the things I put out there. You know, I don't expect everyone to care. You know, it's not like look what I'm lifting. I don't even put, a lot of the time I'm not even posting my top sets on weights or anything. It's just, this is an idea of what I do to train. For those who are interested, give it a go.
If I'm going to give someone credit, I'll give you credit that every time I watch a lift that you put up, whether it's a back squat, you were doing split squats the other day, I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, good lad, he's not maxing out. Like, and I think it's very nice to see a fitness pro who's prepared to show them lifting a moderate amount of weight with good form.
Oh yeah, like I don't care what people. I mean, I don't feel like I need to prove anything to anyone in terms of how much I can lift.
I get very demotivated by that. I got a memory come up the other day. It was you and Faye in a photo shoot after, I can't remember which one, but anyway, there was you two and someone had taken your pictures and they were using your pictures as them. You were being the catfish. And I'm looking at you and I'm like, wow, the veins, the vascularity, like the cuts, the lines. I'm like, the pair of you were in ridiculous shape. And I'm sat there eating a Pop-Tart. And I'm like, this is like, and it literally made me go, oh. And then I had to remember, well, hang on, you two put yourself in an extreme diet phase to look like that. You know, you had more veins on your shoulder than I've got on my.
Let's just say one paper cut could have killed me, right?
Yes. But then there's me comparing myself to you when you were in the shape of your life, and I'm like, I pride myself in being lean and muscular at the same time, yet look nothing on my best day like you guys did in that photo shoot.
I agree that it can be very demotivating. Me and Faye actually both went through our social medias and probably deleted close to like 500 posts where it's just us topless, because it's really weird. Like when you're doing it, you're like, oh yeah, social proof. Like people are going to be like this, and they want. It's mortifying. Like looking back on it, it's mortifying. I don't even like the cover photo we have for the podcast. I want to cover it up and put a t-shirt over it. It's a past thing, which I was proud of at the time, because don't forget, I was doing it to stand on stage. It was a sport. It was, and that's what you had to do to be recognised within the sort of federations, if you like, was tag people in this. You know, you're going to make it as this and the other. But when I look back on it now, it was mortifying, and you have to delete. We just deleted so much. We were like, this is horrendous. as a message to other people, this is horrendous. I think it's good to put a message out there. As a trainer who sells training plans, you know, it's social proof for me rather than social preach.
Yeah, I mean, season 2, episode 1, back with a bang.
Yeah, enjoyed that. Good chatting again.
Did we swear?
Don't think so. Once. Maybe one.
Have we said anything there that's going to get us cancelled?
Not enough.
I didn't. The outtakes.
I didn't say 100%. I don't think once.
I made sure I'd got it a few times. We'll sign off there. Thank you all. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Give us a rating. What else can they do? Where can they find
ask us questions. I think the main take home for me this whole series is just ask us questions, because we can ramble forever about anything. So what I want to do is just give you some advice on things that can help you, because that's what we're here for as trainers, right?
Yeah, so there you go. Any questions, send them to Chris. Send them to Chris.
Perfect. Right, mate, we'll catch up soon, yeah?
Yeah, defo, bro.
Perfect.
Nice to see you, man.
Bye.